So, hey, Agnelorajesh, how are you doing? So, we're talking after such a long time. It's a pleasure to have this conversation with you. I tell you something, today the viewers are going to go crazy because I'm going to bring up some discussions that I think are going to be so powerful, so amazing that it's going to give insight to the people. So, first of all, I hope, you're ready for this because it's going to be fast, quick, and fiery. Are you ready, Agnelorajesh?
Absolutely fast and furious, and I'm looking forward to it, Arfeen. It's always going to be a pleasure interacting with you, and I will love to match your speed. I will try to match your speed.
I'm sure you do. Let's get on straight with it because I've been, as you know, I'm from London, but I've been in India for over 20 years of my life. So I've got like a mix of both ideas about countries, and we've got this coronavirus going on. And the thing I'm trying to, I've heard conversations with people. Everyone's talking about the fear of the virus, and I want to shift it a little bit different. I want to talk about what's going to be great after this happens, because whether you look at it or not, we're stuck in this situation. The unknown enemy is there, it's attacking us. We don't know what's going to happen, but in every adversity, there's got to be something out there that makes things more possibilities. It creates possibilities beyond imagination. So, what do you think about that? What's your take on that?
So I think that the best resources are today collating together. It's a new world order. The way we do business, the way we look at life, the way we travel, the way we eat food, everything is going to change. The way we think is going to change. So it's going to be a mindset change. It's as if we are born again. The last 46, 47 days of isolation and lockdown is dramatically going to change the whole scenario of the world. And for the first time, we are witnessing that without a single bullet being fired, the whole world is under war. And for the first time, the whole world has come together and close together like one single family, and the whole world is trying to invent one solution, which is a medication and vaccination for this virus. So there are too many negatives, but there are too many positives over and above these negatives. And I feel the life tomorrow is going to be more interesting and exciting than yesterday, but we need to be alert, aware, alive for sure. We need to take care of our life and our livelihood and get kicking into the new world order and adjust ourselves.
But I tell you something, one of the greatest accomplishments of this virus is that people are lining up in queues. It's like unbelievable. I've never seen it before, that people are actually lining up in queues. And I think that also gives order of the mindset. I think you're right. I think this is not going to be a war of the virus. It's going to be a war of the mind. Because when people come out of lockdown, people may not realize that the mental health or the mental pressure of what has happened over this 7-8 week lockdown so far is going to cause either complete chaos in someone's mind, or it's going to be a complete breakthrough. And for entrepreneurs, what I'm thinking is that while I'm in this environment myself, I don't know what you're doing, but in my mind, I'm thinking of possibility. I'm thinking of what can I do better? What can I do different? How am I going to change my life? I'm not thinking about disruption. I don't want disruption. I want possibilities. So when you're sitting in your house or in your workspace, wherever you work, what are you thinking? What's going on in that Agnelorajesh powerful mind at the moment? What is it this serial entrepreneur doing?
So fantastic. Sitting at home, I have been the busiest in my life since I was born. In this last 46, 47 days, I've been working 16, 18, 20 hours a day. I'm connecting to the whole world. I'm reaching out to people. And I'm requesting people that we now need to build an ecosystem where we bring our resources together and we share opportunities together. The whole pie needs to be cut into different pieces and everybody needs to be fed with these opportunities. That is what I'm exactly doing. And let me tell you, Arfeen, everybody, if you are in an ecosystem, you are not alone. And these are the times now and forever that there is not going to be competition, but there is going to be cooperation. How can we cooperate? I always tell people that Arfeen Khan has my customers, I have Arfeen Khan's customers. How can we bring together and serve the communities of both our customer bases and try to create one larger pie of the economy which we can share together, at the same time pass on benefits to our customers and our consumers. So it is collating our strengths together, eroding our weaknesses, and becoming fresh in the mind and having a global mindset with a local penetration. We need to be the kings of what we do in the local market, because if your travel is restricted, it is very important and very pertinent to create a new market around your geographical space so that you can tide over this temporary crisis, which might be here for the next 3 months to 12 months to 24 months at the max. But for the moment, we need to create resources from our existing resources itself. And these resources are all around us. We need to map them. We need to understand the gap, and we need to tap into these resources and create a new source of revenue stream for all of us, including our customer base.
So that's amazingly said. And there's one thing comes to my mind is many years ago, someone told me one thing. They said to me, show me a person that makes a fast decision and I will show you a winner time and time again. Now, in my challenge, I don't know if, I mean, you obviously know this. I conduct seminars with up to 3,000-4,000 people at a time. All my business is human to human. It's like in groups. And today it's completely gone dead. But what this created for me was, I thought, okay, what do I do? You know, my hands are tied. What do I do? So I think what I've discovered is that if your business is not doable online, if you're not using the worldwide group of network of people that are out there, and you're not able to divert your business through an online channel, you're going to have a challenge. Because what I did in the space of 2 weeks is I shifted my entire business online. And then what I did is I got together and I created a whole bunch of new projects that were based upon no human-to-human connection. But what do you say to people that are right now in businesses where they are absolutely, you know, I don't want to use bad language because I don't want, you know, but they've gone crazy in their mind. You know, they don't know what to do. They're acting tough, they're acting normal, but they're going through hell in their mind. What do we do for these? How do these people come out of this situation being mentally powerful, focused, driven, and in a state of not, oh my God, what am I going to do? In a state of, how can I empower myself and other people? I'll just give you one quick example, if I may. In this last 7 weeks, I have spoken, me and my organization have helped over 400 people become coaches, and they're coaching people from Zoom. And they said, what can we do? I said, become a coach. And they said, how do we become a coach? I said, well, we can show you how. And now they've started a new line of income, a multiple stream of income, and their fear levels have gone down. So what do you say to people that are going to go out there, and you got to get them refocused towards something powerful? How do you suggest people do that?
Fantastic. So Arfeen, till yesterday in India, we are not accustomed to use technology for our day-to-day needs. This particular current scenario and the current situation has induced everybody to become technology friendly and technology savvy. Yep. People like you who motivate people in a hall of say 500 people can now motivate 50,000 people at the same time. The power of Arfeen Khan was restricted for a physical seminar to 500 people in a hall. But the power of Arfeen Khan today can be unleashed to 50,000 people across the world, and at free infrastructure. You reach to them through technology, you empower them, and what was charged for a presence in the hall was 20 times more expensive than what you could charge over a seminar with the help of technology. So for you, your revenue increases, and for the customer, he gets an entry at a very economical price point. Today, money has become very dear. At the same time, he's not losing out on an opportunity to learn. So personalities like Arfeen Khan will now be more accessible to more number of people, where you'll add value to the quality of the life and the quality of the performance level that every person has. Peak performance has to be achieved by every single human being. And Arfeen Khan, I strongly and firmly believe, I've loved your books, I've loved your sessions. I firmly believe, Arfeen Khan, that for the performance to improve, the coming scenario is going to be such that the competition is not going to be between two companies, two products, or two countries, but competition is going to be between the capabilities of two human beings. And that two human beings can be an Indian and a Japanese, an Indian and American, an Indian and a Chinese, and an Indian with anybody else. So for that, you need to have to get coached up. You need to get trained. So what you're doing is absolute magic. You're boosting up the motivation of the people, but at the same time, only motivation is not enough. What is required is improving the skill sets of the people. And that is what you are doing, improving the skill sets of the people. What are we doing with this kind of conversation that we are having together? A conversation between you and me is actually going to illuminate some new ideas in the minds of people, and it will help them to take critical decisions of their life. This is the time when you are in isolation. This is the time for introspection, for interaction, for conversation, for listening to ideas and ideating decisions which can help you for the rest of your life. So I think this is a great time to take right decisions in life.
Well, let me tell you something, right? What's amazing is that I've been doing some studies about what's going to happen in India, for example. And it is predicted that in the next 5 years, 20% of the new millionaires of the world will come from India. I mean, I don't know if people are listening to what I'm saying. There's a population of 1.2 billion. Even if you traded within the country, even if you sold used underwear, there's a market for you to become a billionaire.
Absolutely.
If you know what I mean. So what people do, they always look at the grass being greener on the other side. But what you have here is, my opinion, number one, you have a group of unified people, and I hope that unity stays. Number two, Indian people are hardworking. They are hardworking. Number three, most Indians, at least up until now, save money, and they're thinking of legacy. They always think of legacy. I want to create something, pass it to my generation. Now imagine the power of that coupled with the ideas of a group of people. So you're right. Imagine a collaboration between me, you, 10 other people, and we meet virtually. We don't have to, you're a busy man, I'm a busy man. How do we meet each other? Like this. And we come up with ideas. The possibilities are huge. Because India, despite the coronavirus, India is the land of opportunity. India is the future. India is got the resources. But one thing I do believe is missing is that people spend too much time focused on business plans. What they forget is the psychology of success in the mind, and that mind has to be powerful, strong, and it cannot be living in fear. It cannot be living in nervousness. It's got to be front-footed. It cannot be back-footed. It's got to be front-footed. So I've seen you work. You're a serial entrepreneur. You don't give up. You're like what's his name? Usain Bolt. You know, you're like and what that shows is the mindset, and people forget skills. And one last thing I want to say that's really crucial for me. I'm not a big believer in positive thinking. I don't think life is great, life is fantastic. I think that's absolute rubbish. I think the truth is you got to look at life as it is, and you got to look at the pain that you have in your life. The pain can be your motivation. It can drive you. When you wear your trousers and they're too tight, it motivates you to lose weight. When you look in the bank account and you got no money, you think, oh my God, I need to make more money. So what's your take on looking at negatives to empower you? What's your take on that?
So what I feel is in an Olympic Games, Indians don't get gold medals too often. But if you have got dog running behind a man from India in that race, he will win the race. What bites you makes you run. You need to keep running. Virus has really questioned your livelihood and your life. So now people will run. Indians have become more creative. They will become more creative. And Arfeen, what you said is so true. Absolutely so true. India is a world in a country. The population of 1.3 billion. We don't need to depend on anybody else in the world. But this coronavirus is going to change the economics of the global scenario, where the whole world is now going to depend on India. The last 50 years were for China. The next 50 years are going to be for India, because India has got the wherewithal and the bandwidth of the population to serve the requirements in the terms of products and services for the rest of the world. And that is what is going to be unfolding. The rest of the world will come together and develop India for their own advantage, so that they get their products and services served. So it's going to be a glorious time forward. But what we require today is education, skill set, government support, and the cooperation, support, and ecosystem of each other. That is what is required. We need to have power groups. We need to have power circles. At the same time, we need motivation. So one Arfeen Khan kind of a personality is a fantastic motivator. But what distinguishes you from the other people is you not only motivate people, but you skill people. You coach them. You give them strategies. You're a master strategist. What people today need, Arfeen, is answers to their questions, solutions to their fears, predictions to the future, perceptions to the future, positive perceptions to the future. And this is the time, through these kind of programs, we can collectively ideate and come out with solutions which we can implement collectively. So there is nothing negative in this world. People who are constantly negative are also positively negative. So I'm sure these are going to be very interesting times. We need to gear up. We need to be alive. We need to be alive in the mind. It is our attitude that matters. It is the outlook that matters. And it is the action that we take from here on, which is going to critically matter. And we need to validate all our thoughts with the people around us, the people we admire, the people we respect, the people we follow. That's my take on this, Arfeen.
Yeah, and look, people don't realize, people are always looking for a sunny day. They're looking for the best in life. Whether we realize it or not, life is a roller coaster. There's no way. If you were happy all the time, you'd be miserable, because we need some drama in our lives. And what people do is when they go into drama, they stay in drama for a long time. And when they're in happiness, they stay there for a short time. So what I believe is this: if we get the mindset right, I'll give you one quick example. In this time of coronavirus, there's been a lot of focus on helping businesses and helping employees and but I haven't seen the initiative for helping people with the mindset. Like I try to get an essential a person's permit because I want to go and coach people. People need mental health experts.
Yes.
But there is no allocation at all to work on people's mind, because right now the doctors and the nurses, as much as they are needed, coaches, speakers, trainers are needed to be out there, even through even if they're 2 meters apart or 5 meters apart, to help families overcome. I had one family call me up on the phone where the father was having a panic attack, didn't know what to do. You know, I had a conversation with them and he completely got into shape. But what about the people who don't know about this? You can't go to a doctor, you can't go to a hospital, you can't popping a pill. So one of the things I believe is, should there be more focus on looking at the mental aspect of human behavior rather than just, you know, the bank account or business help or, you know, support? What about the mental support that people are looking for? How do we get that into India?
So that is the concern number one today. So whether the virus reaches somebody or not, a negative mindset has reached too many people. So what you need is coaching. I always say that even when Sachin Tendulkar retired, Sachin Tendulkar, as we all know, is the greatest batsman the cricketing world has ever been seen or ever been born. And even he, on the day of his retirement, had a batting coach. All of us need to have coaches. There are two types of coaches. One is a coach where the student knows that he's a coach, the coach knows that he's a student. And there is the second type of coach, like the Eklavya and Dronacharya story, where I follow Arfeen Khan. Arfeen Khan doesn't know I follow him. So he's my coach, but he's not aware that he's coaching me. So there are Arfeen Khans in everybody's lives. Sure. We need to follow them, and we need to implement what they teach. So coaching is required. And Arfeen, for your information, it is very interesting to know that there are 3 support services which the government has set up currently to tide this current crisis. The first support system is giving medication to the people who need medication because they're medically ill. The second support system is to make sure that people don't sleep hungry and they get food. So government is working very aggressively on making sure nobody goes sleeping hungry. And the third support that the government has created is they have created a helpline where you can have psychological conversation with psychiatrists and doctors who are there to support people, because people have gone weak in their minds. And conversations like this will empower people to take the correct decisions. There is a saying, there is light at the other end of the tunnel, and this tunnel is too short. It is just a matter of a few days or a few hours, and then it is absolutely going to be a new world order. The way of living will change, but we will learn to live with Corona, and we will learn to live around Corona. It is just that till yesterday we were concerned only about our personal hygiene. Now our outlook has to change, and we have to be concerned about the hygiene of the environment around us also. Every person has to become an engineer, every person has to become a doctor, every person has to become a police. Everybody has to play a triple role and make sure everybody around is safe. So your responsibility of living in this world as a citizen of this world has increased and multiplied, and fortunately people have realized that. So nobody can keep a blind eye towards what's happening around you anymore. You have to be participative. We are responsible for our happiness, we are responsible for our health, and we are responsible for the progress ahead, depending on how we collaborate and cooperate with all the human beings around us, considering everybody to be the same single family, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, or the surname.
You know, one thing I've also that's kind of freaked me out a little bit is that despite being in a lockdown, have you not noticed how fast time goes now? It's like, who would have thought that 7 weeks of lockdown, and at least for me, it's like this. It's unbelievable. What it does show you, though, is the value that time must have in your life. A lot of people think they have all the time in the world. We don't have all the time in the world. The day you are born is the beginning of you dying. It's the beginning of you dying, and people may not that's negative, but it's actually very positive. That means that you got limited time. So I'm saying, as we talk to entrepreneurs on this call and other leaders on this call and people who want to be entrepreneurs and successful, the one thing you've got to do is I'm not talking about time management, because I'm not a big fan of scheduled time management. But what I do believe is that if you are a person on a mission, you're a person who's got a mission in their mind, you will create time and you will manage it correctly because it's mission driven. What people tend to do is that they sit there and say, what do I do? Nothing to do. I'm locked down. Can't do anything. I'm stuck. But I'm saying is, imagine you've got the resources in your room. You may have a room the size of a bathroom. You could be living in there. What are the possibilities? How do you get people to take advantage of this time, this limited time we've got, in order for us to make this time valuable? Because you're born. Time is limited. Yet the biggest thing that most people are watching Netflix 15 hours a day, playing games. In fact, I'll give you another quick thing. I've had about 100 people in the last 5 weeks that have written books.
Yes, I'm one of them.
Oh, okay, superb, right?
I've written one, yes.
Who've written books. Now I'm saying to them, you're going to be remembered in history, because when you die, your book's going to remain, and somebody someday, 1 year, is going to pick up your book. So I'm saying to people on this call, do something valuable with your time, even if it's not business related. Create something, do something, because it will change your world. What's your take on that, Agnello?
Absolutely, Arfeen. You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. People, you need to use time creatively. This is the best time to create the best of creativity. Let me tell you, I have written a book called 50 New Life Mantras. And this situation has really taught us on how to take a view at life and how to be collaborative and cooperative with the economy around you and the environment around you. So this has to be used very, very creatively. Time is the only resource which can never be earned back. So we are maximizing it. And there are so many opportunities. Arfeen Khan, I will be launching 4 to 5 more new businesses by the time the lockdown is up, because I have collected resources together, I have collaborated, I have strategized and made plans. This is a support mechanisms to other entrepreneurs and also an opportunity for me to expand. So there is going to be massive expansions for people who are alive and alert in their minds and using every minute very, very logically and very, very creatively. Arfeen, it's a very nice statement you said that you are falling short of time. Can you believe there is no time today, in spite of being in home, no mobility, no traffic jam? So I've got no reasons to complain. In spite of that, there is no time. People who have the luxury to watch a single movie in one single day are people who are losing out on big opportunities of supporting this environment around them. If you have the time to watch a full movie, that means you're not doing enough. You need to be with your team. You need to be with your vendors. You need to be with your customers. That is religion. You need to be with people at this point of time and not celebrating a holiday or watching a movie content on a Netflix. You need to watch a movie over a period of 10 days. You can watch 15 days or 15 minutes or 20 minutes a day just to enlighten your mind. But you need to be value adding to the people around you. And there is so much that you can do with your talks, with your writings, with your posts, with your calls, with your coordinations, with your trainings. There is a lot that can be done, Arfeen. And I firmly believe in the coming times, people like you who are into strategic planning are going to shape and redefine how entrepreneurs are going to grow. What I feel is any economy is always managed and monitored and grown by the government first, by the entrepreneur second, and the team of the people who are involved with the entrepreneurs, and that becomes the entire population. So this is the time where all the public, the population, the entrepreneurs, and the government comes together in one circle of trust and starts changing the scenario. I have seen unfolding a lot of plans which are going to be unfolding, Arfeen. Government is on a massive infrastructure investment plans, because that is how a crisis-ridden economy comes back to power. So there is going to be humongous amounts of investments which is going to happen in India. Humongous amounts of investments coming in from international countries. They are already speaking to the governments. Government is opening their arms and welcoming the other companies and the other countries to come into India and do collaborative working with India. 100 lakh crores are going to be invested in India in the next 5 years for the economic development of the country. In spite of India having a gross turnover of the government for around 16 lakh crores, 100 lakh crores are going to be invested over the next 3 to 5 years. In road infrastructure itself, government is investing 15 lakh crores over the next 2 years. Now, this is the money which is going to come into the pockets of the citizens of the country. When the citizens of the country will get money, the crisis will be overcome and we will have the change in the economy happening. We need to be mentally healthy, physically fit to embrace this kind of opportunities which is going to come to our doorsteps, which is already there, and we have to just embrace it and move forward. Come out of the fear, look at life positively, be health conscious, increase your immunity level, take precautions. All those things are going to be in place, but still live your full life with a new form of discipline.
Do you know what I believe? The government is investing money, infrastructure, everything. I agree. That's awesome. But more important than that is that people have to invest their mindset in the country. They have to look at this as their country. Now, I'm not just saying for one day on Independence Day. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I wake up in the morning and I think to myself, how can I make life better for another person in this country? What can I do to make this country flourish? There's got to be a mindset. Just to let you know, Agnelorajesh, that I'm an English fail 3 times. I'm a mathematics fail 3 times. I worked in Domino's. I worked in McDonald's. I don't come from a rich background. I came from a background where my father has taught me to stand strong, face my fear, and do it despite what you think. Now, what a lot of people have this thing is what I call a victim mentality in their mind, that they think, okay, the government's investing money, but I'm not going to get anything. The roads are being made, but I'm not going to get anything. And I think what people have to realize is that when a country is growing, I'm very happy I'm in a developing country. I'm not in a developed country, because where there is developing, there is possibility. And where there is possibility,
Yes,
there's opportunity. But the challenge you've got is, imagine you've got 1.2 billion people. At least 500 million of them have to be driven and know that their academic education is not the reason why you'll be successful. It is partially
yes,
the reason. The reason why you'll be successful is about the focus and the drive and the determination you have. Because in any opportunity, everybody can win, but you have to step forward. You have to take participate. You have to do something about it. You can't sit there on the sideline and think, "Oh, I didn't get anything. Nothing happens in my life." So what's your take on what I call the victim mindset? The person who
so I
says,
feel,
the person who says, "I've got no money, I've got no time, I don't know anybody." 'Cause I come from that background. I failed public speaking at school, believe it or not. It's insane. But what changed was the people around me and the mindset. So what's your take on victim mentality or stuff like that? What's your take on that?
so we need to have the participative culture, and we need to develop a no excuse culture. If we have these two aspects, we will win. The population of the country is 1.3 billion people, and we have got absolutely fantastic control as on date as far as the coronavirus is concerned. The only reason this has happened is because not only did the government participate, but the population of the country participated in a very large numbers in terms of volunteers, in terms of medical workers, and there was absolutely affection flowing through the country. It is the collective efforts of the whole country which has kept us safe and sound. We are at a very minimalistic levels of infection and casualties, and that's purely because of the role of participation. But what this country has always seen is, it has come together whenever there is a crisis. When India wanted independence, 40 crore people came together and overthrew the British government. So that crisis brought the country together. Again, this virus has brought the country together. My request would be that every citizen of India needs to develop a permanent mentality of being together forever, irrespective of a crisis. We will overcome this crisis in the next 10 to 15 days, or it might be tomorrow morning also. We don't know about that. It is bound to be sure that we will come out of this crisis. But the mindset needs to continue. The affection for each other, the feeling for each other, being together with each other, this needs to continue. Only as a strong unity, as one strong company, as a one strong country, we can tide over the others. If you see economically, Arfeen, I would like to share some details. America has got the largest economy in the world with $21.44 trillion dollars. And India has an economy, we are on the 5th in the world in the size of the economy, and we are at $3 trillion. Now, can you imagine, America is only 23% of the population of India. I will tell you why this has happened. This is a study that I did. I will tell you why this has happened. This has purely happened because in the entrepreneurial circle, a person begins with being an employee, then he becomes self-employed, then he employs people, then he employs entrepreneurs by outsourcing activities, and we terminate to that level. What American entrepreneurs have done in the past 100 years is, they have gone beyond hiring entrepreneurs. They have gone ahead and started hiring countries. They hire countries like China, like Indonesia, like India, and those countries work, and the wealth is made by these Americans back home in America. Now, India, to become a superpower, needs to start playing that role, which it will play in the next 50 years to come. But for that, you need to have the attitude where there is no global. The whole world is local, and American thinks like a local. For him, India is local. For him, China is local. There is no geographical boundaries. For him, a plane is a mode of transport from one place to other. Whether the flight is for 30 minutes or whether the flight is for 24 hours, it doesn't matter. He considers the whole planet as one single market. And that is the mindset that we need to cultivate. What you said is absolutely right. Participation is required. You cannot have a failure mindset saying that let the infrastructure happen, the money has not come to me, I didn't get the contract, I didn't get the job, I don't have good employees, I don't have proper infrastructure. No, that is not going to be the solution. Develop a no excuse attitude. Arfeen, like a background that you had, I've got a worse background. I'm a slum boy. I've come from a place called Malvani,
Wow.
where my house size was 160 square feet with no water in the house, no tap in the
Amazing.
house, no toilet in the house. From there,
Wow.
we have transformed. How I was born was not in my hands. The economic status of when I was born was not in my hands.
Sure.
But after that, everything is in my hands. And it is my hands which is changing my future. It is my hands which is changing my destiny. And it
You know
is the
what's
relationship
interesting?
that we have earned which has changed the destiny.
You know what's interesting? You were talking about America, and recently, obviously, Donald Trump won the election for becoming the president of the United States. And people always say to me, "How did he win?" Because this was the first time a woman was standing, and it could have been history. But what people don't realize, the reason why Donald Trump won is not because of, despite of all of his negatives and etc., he always focused where Hillary said, "I've done this in 30 years, I've done that in 30 years, I've done that in 30." She focused on the past. And Donald Trump said, "Let's make America great again. I'm going to build infrastructure. I'm going to build the roads." He focused on the future. So imagine having a country where the people are focusing in the future. They're looking ahead. And that's the only reason. And I think that he's going to win again because his focus is in the future. He's not going to lose because all the other people are talking about the past. What we should do is we look at this opportunity. You're in the confinements of your home. You're stuck at home. You have no choice. Why not build a future? Why not build some? I've got something called an apprentice millionaire club. I was talking to you earlier about that. You know, in this environment, I decided to put together a group of entrepreneurs that meet every week via Zoom, and we have thousands of people who are brand new, flourishing entrepreneurs that are networking, building ideas, and they're saying that we've never had more time in our life. We're all driven for the future. We're building our skills because when you know what you want to accomplish, you have to build skill. If you don't know what you want to accomplish, you will not build skills. Skill is a natural progression. When you are a child, you learn to walk. No one teaches you. You get
Fabulous.
up and walk because you have to walk.
Absolutely.
So I'm saying if you want to build skill, it has to come by mission, not by learning. It's got to be, okay, I climb Mount Everest, therefore I better be skilled at climbing. I better be skilled at getting a hammer. I better be skilled at handling the cold. But if I have no mission of Mount Everest, what's the point of me having the skills? So I want the country to be future driven. I want it to be forward driven. I want it to be not looking at what didn't happen or what could have happened or what should have happened. It's about the possibilities. And that's the one thing I've been repeating over the last few years to people is that you can't change your past, but you certainly can mold your future. God knows best, of course. God knows best, of course, but you can mold your future. You can go towards that future. And I think that's the reason why your story happened that way. You've come from a slum and you didn't look at how bad your life was. You looked at the possibilities. And it's such a beautiful word, isn't it? Possibilities. What a lovely word.
Absolutely.
Makes you feel good. It makes kind of gives you that vibe of that possibilities. So I don't know. I think go ahead.
Yeah, I think what you said makes such a lot of sense. I always believe that you should not be a prisoner of your past. You should not be controlled by your past. You should not be controlled by your emotions. You should not be controlled by the people around you. But you should be supported and you should take guidance from your past. You should take guidance from your emotions and you should take guidance from the right set of people around you. When you are with the set of the people around you, you need to be choosy who are those people. You become what the most accessible 5 people in your life are. You become like them. So I would like to have people like Arfeen Khan in my life so that my life becomes inspirational and I look to possibilities of life rather than negatives of life. You are a firm believer of transformation, and transformation can happen if I have an open mind to accept that I want to be transformed. So who are the people in your life makes a very critical decision of your life. You need to have that charted and you need to understand which are those 10, 20, 30 people of your life whom you should be in touch with on a daily basis, which will transform the way you think, change your mindset and start looking towards the world of possibilities. Arfeen, I would like to ask you something.
Go ahead.
I would love to ask you something. Arfeen, you have been interacting with so many people. You have transformed 10 lakh lives in 46 countries. That is amazing. Your energy level that I met you for the first time in my life 20 years back is exactly the same. In fact, it is more today than it was 20 years back. What keeps you driving and what is the change that you have seen in entrepreneurship in the wonderful country of India? What is it that you have seen, Arfeen?
Okay, so my biggest change was this. Before, what I call a focused in person. My life was how much money can I make? What can I earn? What can I do? Me. I call it selfie culture. Me, right? What I did is I shifted my focus to being a focused out person. I said to myself, what can I do for someone out there, and as a reward will benefit me based on the result? So I look at Steve Jobs, created a phone. The phone created
Fantastic.
billions for him. You look at any serial entrepreneur, any successful person, they're what I call focused out people. They're not focused in people. Because when you look at yourself too much, the only thing that is in the world is you. And you can never live by yourself or alone. You need people around you. So one thing I did was, and I've got three main things that I've discovered with all the people that I've met that Indian people should know. There are 3 points that are the most crucial things that will make you successful. And I can put that in blood and in writing to be the truth. And if you miss any of these 3, you will fail. Number 1 is to have clarity of what you want to do with your life. Now, I don't mean goal setting. I don't mean goal setting. Goal setting, I want your obituary. So when you die, what are they going to say about you? Here lies Arfeen Khan. Who? So write your death note, number 1. Number 2, have a powerful group of people around you. You only need 4 people to carry your body. You need 4 people to change your life. You need 4 people that are very different from you. They must not be like you. They must be different. They must have different ideas, but they must not be competitive. They have to be different. And number 3, be a fast decision maker. Don't sit on the fence of your life. Should I not? Jump in, but don't be stupid either. Make a fast decision, but make a decision based on outcome. So what I've seen in the last 20 years working with nearly 1 million people, 90% of people fail because 2 reasons. 1, they're focused in. It's all about me. And number 2, they don't follow the 3 steps. It's simple as that. So one way that people can transform their life is to go and contribute. Go join an NGO. Go start a charity. Create in this moment. Start a happy club where you can send happy messages. I'm sick and tired of getting messages about so many people have died and corona. But send people positivity. Start thinking about others. Your world is. You are not your world. The world. You belong to the world. You owe the world. You owe people. You owe your mother and father. You owe your brothers and sisters. You owe God. You owe people your life to do something with it. So I think focused out and the 3 rules, you will succeed 100% of the time.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Arfeen, my another question to you, which I'm very interested to understand is, what according to you is leadership, and what kind of leadership is required in the current times?
Leadership is not about taking action. Leadership is about knowing what to do in times when you need to know what to do. For example, you're driving a car. You don't know what's 200 meters ahead, but you're driving the car because you are leading and you're following. So a leader is ahead of the pack. He or she thinks of things that other people are not going to think. So you've got to think of the best case scenario, the worst case scenario. Is someone who doesn't tell the team what to do, but inspires them, and someone who's not too nice all the time. Nice leadership doesn't work. You've got to have an iron fist in a velvet glove. Iron fist in a velvet glove. So people must know that you love them, but they must know that this person means what they say. So you got to have what I have, strength leadership. And you can't talk and not walk the walk. If you want to lead, you have to lead by example. You can't just say do this. And the greatest leader of all is a leader that understands that they do not know everything. That there are people out there that know more than them, and they must be able to utilize that knowledge, those resources, and know how to lead. Lead means to lead, not to do. Is to acquire knowledge, acquire resources, get the right kind of people, and march forward on a vision, on a plan, and get your troops to go out there to help build that vision with you. You can't do it by yourself. Impossible.
Fabulous. Fabulous, Arfeen. That is so critically important. A leadership has to be with a strong fist. It is dictatorship with democracy in place. And there needs to be delegation of not only responsibility, but also delegation of authority. And the leader needs to be motivated at all times and needs to be visionary and with his focus on the mission. Yes.
And accountability, because that's the biggest thing missing.
Yes. Lead by example.
My team, for example, they know when something has to be delivered, they know it's going to be delivered because everybody is accountable. And a lot of people don't have accountability in life. And I think leadership is about this velvet glove accountability, and you're going to win.
Fantastic. And these are the times where the output of every human being, whether you're the boss or the employer, the peon or the driver, everybody's performance and productivity is going to be measured and monitored, and there is technology available for monitoring every aspect in life today. So Arfeen, I think there are a lot of questions which are pending. We can take a few questions before we can conclude. And if we can have some questions on the screen, I think we'll be able to address that.
One thing I want to say just before we get the questions is that leadership also begins in the home. You know, if you want to be successful at work, you better make sure you're a great leader in your house, because that's the hardest place. That's the hardest place to lead in the world, is your home.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
That you're going to do well. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely, fantastic. So I think a couple of questions were asked related to infrastructure on what's going to happen after the lockdown. So friends, lockdown is going to be opened up in phases. It will be a strategy which will not put us to risk at a one go, and they will also want to understand how people are adapting to the unlocking situation. Lots of people are going to be a little confused on how to handle an unlocked situation. What's your take on that, Arfeen Khan?
Well, I think, look, the bottom line is this: I think it's going to be done slowly. And I think they're going to start off by getting, I mean, they should, at least in the cities of Mumbai, should start the metro work straight away. They could have finished the whole thing by now. It would have been amazing if they did that. I think they're going to work with essential services first. Then they're going to work on the offices and get people to start going in. And there has to be a structure in place of people putting some kind of guidelines about how people are going to do that. But at the end of the day, people have to take ownership. If you're, keep yourself clean. You know what to do. People are not stupid. People know what they need to do. So, don't spit, don't go sneeze on people, go to the office, get your work done, go home. But, I hope it opens quick, because I know a lot of people that are in very huge difficulty at the moment. They've got rents to pay, businesses down. It's like the quicker we start moving the wheels, the more powerful and faster it's going to be.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I see a lot of positivity that is going to take place. People have now composed themselves with the scenario. They have know the pros and cons. They are the major challenges that every person or every family is feeling today is how to manage expenses, how to maintain revenues and increase revenues. That is going to be a critical question, and how the government is reacting in the next few days in terms of a stimulus package or a support mechanism that is going to be coming up. My suggestion to everybody would be, we need to be self-dependent. There would be some government support that might be on the way. In terms of loan facilities, the whole country is going to take loans. The government is going to take loans. We will need to take loans to tide over this temporary situation, but we need to sustain, survive, and grow. We need to be together. That is the magic mantra of this scenario. We cannot afford to be on our own. We cannot be alone. Although there is social distancing, our souls, our minds, our thoughts, our ambitions need to be connected. And that is what is going to take us to the other side of the tunnel. Arfeen Khan, I love this interaction with you. Thank you so much. I enjoyed every minute of this, and I'm sure people would have had some points that they must have picked up from us and this conversation, and it might help them. Have a God bless future. Arfeen Khan, your last shot.
So I just want to say to everybody that, dream big, keep your feet on the ground, but keep your head in the clouds. Don't forget where you've come from. Don't forget where you can go. And the other thing I want to say to you is that pandemics like this, and you've had difficult moments in your own life, this too will pass. But when it passes, make your story the greatest story ever told, because you're the only one that's going to write that story, going to direct that story, going to produce that story, going to act in that story. Just make sure you have a good supporting cast, you have good lead actors with you, and make sure that your movie that you are making about your life as you wake up every morning and go to sleep is going to be a blockbuster, at least for your family and generations to remember. And with that, I want to say thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. You've been awesome. And I look forward to seeing you in person very soon. Who knows?
Very soon. We will catch up, and definitely we will create situations and scenarios where we can be supportive to the people around us, and everybody's success will be our success. Thank you so much. Have a God bless day. Thank you, Arfeen Khan. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.